she wanted out now. Like, I want done. I don't care. This house is the worst. I want to leave. And the mistake that I made was there is a missing of the mark in your communication for 2025, because more and more you'll hear it from content creators out there, the people who really know what they're doing. People learn best by stories. Mistake number one. Once upon a time, this was back in 2018. The lesson to learn from this mistake is make sure that anything you negotiate is accounted for in advance, ideally on the settlement statement, because that will make everything super official. Think about what you're sharing with who, because our job as real estate agents is to meet the intent, a positive intent that's right for our clients, fiduciary duty, all that stuff.
You can find this on NAR. Only 25% of real estate agents have a YouTube. If you think that the market is saturated, it is 100% not.
Have you ever wondered what mistakes top performers have made that they wish they hadn't? Or maybe you've sat around wishing you could learn from great agents hard, painful lessons to avoid those same mistakes? Well, if I'm speaking to your soul right now, then today's episode is for you. I am Shelby Johnson, and I'm here with Ali _the_ agent.
Right.
And you are listening to The Agent Goldmine, the show for agents who have been around the block and are ready finally to build sustainable, scalable businesses that they love leading. Between Ali and I, we have closed hundreds of transactions, whether it be in the agent space, the team leader space, the investor space, lots of background here. I'm not saying we're top performing agents, but we
literally are top performing agents. I just got another trophy. We're both icon agents. Shelby's being humble.
I do. It feels weird, but whatever. Okay. Today, our episode idea came from Ali. Would you like to drop? It didn't come from Ali.
Yeah.
Ali,
it did not come from me. I'm just going to announce it. And the winner today goes to Diane Schell, SCHELL _ realtor. She's out in Colorado Springs. So if you ever have any referrals, hit her up. She is your girl. Best communicator out there, best agent, highly recommend. So she actually hit us up with a request to do an episode specifically on mistakes that we have made. So thank you, Diane, for the suggestion. We are more than happy to do it, obviously. And if anyone else listening ever wants us to answer a specific question, or they've heard other episodes and they're like, I wish Ali and Shelby went deeper on this topic, hit us up. We're doing the show for you. We're not making money from this, so we're literally doing this for you. So hit us up. We're friendly. Okay. Shelby's going to kick us off with mistake number one.
Yeah. And this is so fun because I have no idea which direction Ali is taking these mistakes, whether they're like big picture, philosophical, like holistic business, which I personally have done stuff like that in the past. So what I decided today for my 3 mistakes are like super, super tactical. They're like actually experiences within the agent, like transactions, as opposed to, man, I wish I didn't work with so many investors all those years, because I have done episodes on that before. Okay.
I guess I'll delete one of my mistakes then. No, just kidding. That wasn't it.
No, don't keep it. Whatever you're doing, keep it. I just went hyper tactical for this. And another thing that I am going to do is try to tell this in the form of a story, because guys, if you are not on YouTube or social media, telling stories, there is a missing of the mark in your communication for 2025, because more and more you'll hear it from content creators out there, the people who really know what they're doing. People learn best by stories. Okay. So mistake number 1. Once upon a time, this was back in 2018. This was probably my 3rd closing of all time. And I was feeling great because I had just negotiated an $11,000 allowance, like concessions. It was cosmetic, paint, whatever, for my clients. I was feeling amazing. I was like, dude, I'm the best fucking agent in the world, whatever. And we go to closing, top of the world, everyone signs. And my client looks at me and says, where do I get my 11,000? How does that happen? This is after we had signed. And I was like, that's actually a really good question. And turns out it was not on the settlement statement. I didn't even think to review it on the settlement statement. But luckily what happened is I texted the listing agent and was like, hey, like, are you bringing a, cashier's check or money order for the 11,000? And they must have just gone with it. And they're like, hey, we'll bring this. And I was like, thank God, because you know what would have happened if they did
Mhm.
not pay outside of closing, which probably an agent like Ali would have been like, dude, you snooze, you fucking lose, man. You didn't.
I actually, okay, thank you for clarifying that. I would not, because I know
Oh,
that in this business, we're going to do business again. But I
yeah.
see it happen so commonly,
Mhm.
or where other agents to say, oh, well, you snooze, you lose, or you're 1 day past the inspection period, you fucked up. And like, we're going to do business again.
Right.
Like, and you're going to make an offer on one of my listings and it's going to come back. So it shouldn't, but it
Totally.
does. So anyway, sorry, continue.
Well, and also reminding the other party that, like, hey,
Mm,
we have a shared goal. We are all trying to get to the same end state here, like a closing with happy clients, and we can do this together. So you don't have to make it so freaking difficult. Just to add on to what Ali was saying. But yeah, so if I had not in that instance been able to get the $11,000 from our client, I would have come out of pocket for that, because that's what I would have done. And I did not have $11,000 to come out of pocket, at that time. So mistake, actually, the lesson to learn from this mistake is make sure that anything you negotiate is accounted for in advance, ideally on the settlement statement, because that will make everything super official and you're not going to get lost in the sauce there. Kentucky is really weird. They're all about like bringing like personal checks and just slinging them around. Like it's strange. So know your market, but the safest way, in my opinion, is just to make sure it's on the settlement statement. If it is okay with your lender too, which kind of goes into one of my other mistakes. But Ali, anything on that lesson learned mistake?
like, not specifically related to that, but curious about Kentucky. Do
Yeah.
sellers and buyers meet at the closing table?
Bro, it is the weirdest thing of my life. Yes.
They do. Yo, that is some southern shit, man. It is so
I
Tennessee does that too. It's
I
crazy.
can't. That's in North Carolina, we didn't do that. It was like very separate, which I loved. I'm like, I don't want to sit at no, it's literally like all of the sellers, all of the buyers, both the agents, the lenders show up, the
Oh my
attorney.
god.
They bring their kids, they have dogs. It is insane. Yeah,
Wow.
for sure. Your reaction is
That's
appropriate.
crazy.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. I got a lot of leads when I was first starting out from my wife. Both of us were active duty at the time. And so my wife worked in a different squadron on base. And so she was like amongst other pilots. It doesn't matter. Okay. So one of her coworkers was looking to sell his home. And I went down there and we listed it. I went through my entire listing presentation, did the whole thing, hired the photographer, paid for the photographer and the advertisement, all of that. And about 2 weeks, maybe ish, if I remember, this is like my fourth ever listing. So back in 2021, I think. After about a couple of weeks, he decides, you know what? We haven't gotten any offers that I want. I want to rent it out instead. And I was like, oh my God, we've barely given it a shot. Like it's been 2 weeks. Uh, and I was like, crap. And I'm not so anyway, so I was like, that sucks. But I'm definitely not going to ruin a relationship over it. So I'm like, well, okay, if you want to, absolutely, let's take it off the market. And I remember like trying to save the deal, like, hey, like this, we are not in Tucson proper. We're 30 minutes away. It takes a certain type of buyer, XYZ. And he was like, nah, you know what? Like, I don't want to lose any money anymore. I'd rather just rent it. So that is the reason why I started a cancellation fee on every single one of my listings, no matter what. No matter who you are, no matter what price point you want to sell at, I always have a cancellation fee because of him. And you know what's funny is like it wasn't truly a mistake because you bet your ass I fucking followed up. Sorry, I'm like cursing so much. You bet your buttocks. I followed up every week. I was like, hey, name, I'm looking at your property. Have you gotten any offers yet? Or like potential renters and tenants? No, 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 no. I followed up every week for like 3 months. And he was like, okay, I still haven't got, because he was too high on his rental price. And I was like, at this point, the market has shifted. And like I said this completely honestly, I would never lie to anybody. I was like, the market has shifted. There are more buyers now. We're headed toward the summer season. Let's list it. And we listed it. I got it, happy ending there, but it could have been really, really bad, of like paying at least, because the photographer itself was $1,000 and XYZ. That doesn't cost, doesn't even account my time, advertisement. You guys know how listing stuff works. So I almost lost it. And after that, I was like, I'm not going to be in this position ever again. So now at every single listing appointment, which I do over Zoom, I talk about, as I'm going over through the listing agreement, I cover, price point, agency, dual agency, unrepresented buyer, blah, 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 blah. And also at the very end, you're gonna see in the additional comments that I have a non-negotiable $3,000 cancellation fee. This covers whether if you decide to not work with me, if you decide to not sell the property at all, if you decide to rent it out instead, if you decide to move back in and continue living in it. Whatever the case, I have a $3,000 cancellation fee because I have to pay for photography. You remember that comes out of my check. I pay sometimes, for staging, or I pay for the advertisement, and everything else covers my time and my effort that I put into it. I think that's the like super important line too. Is like everything else covers my time and my effort, and that's where they're like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And I think usually at that point I've already built a good relationship with them, so they want to pay me for my time. Like not once have I ever heard, oh, well, then I don't want to work with you. At that point, they wouldn't have booked a call. So that was one of my biggest lessons learned on the listing side. And so yeah, I do a $3,000 cancellation fee, which kind of equates to 1%. If my price points ever change, I'll change that too.
I have a
That's
question.
my story. Yeah.
What happens hypothetically, because I don't know if this has ever happened to you, if the listing just doesn't sell and your agreement expires?
I have a year-long agreement every single time, buyers and listings, which is what I've been doing up until now, and especially now that houses in Arizona are sitting for 100 days, no offers. So it's always a year long. So I haven't been in that position, but say we've been on the market for a year, and then we're agreeing. I don't know what I would do. Actually, that's a really good question. I mean, I think I would
Hopefully it never happens to you.
yeah, hopefully houses don't sit on the market for a year. Yeah, but like with everyone, I work with a year long. That's just what I do. That's what how I've always done it.
Perfect.
Yay!
Great. Yay. So my second mistake takes us back again, 2019-ish, where I had negotiated a termite repair allowance. And I had a TC at this time, and I don't know how it happened, but the seller had agreed, the buyer had agreed. We were all good. We were on track to closing, but the termite estimate for all of this work for the termite damage was on an email that ended up to the lender. And we were all set to close, like all parties were good, until the lender found out that there was actually like a decent amount of termite damage. And they're like, whoa, 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 we're not going to lend on a house with termite damage. This has to get done prior. But the thing is, the seller didn't have the funds to get it done prior. We were counting on the proceeds of the sale to give the check to the buyer to execute, And so my whole point of this is I'm like, don't lie to your lenders, of course, don't lie to people, but also like think about what you're sharing with who, because our job as real estate agents is to meet the intent, a positive intent that's right for our clients, fiduciary duty, all that stuff. But sometimes there's red tape and rules that could prevent that from happening. And so just thinking through what you share with who can help you from a termination when all parties had agreed and the work was going to be done, but the lender would not allow it because of the damage. That's my mistake and my story.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
It's hard because even saying it, I'm like, people are going to be like, well, you should always tell your lender everything. And if they won't allow it, then you shouldn't be doing it. Like there are people out there like that. But at the end of the day, my take is like a kind of a bigger picture where it's like, as long as I'm doing right by my client, it's meeting their goals. They are fully aware, completely all disclosures, and the sellers agreed, all parties are on board. That's my job.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it.
Yeah. And the lenders too want to close.
Did
So
you Yeah,
like they
I've
want to
actually
work with yeah.
I have lenders who will be like, call me on the side and be like, "Yo, don't send me that shit." Or
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
"Hey, reword this. I'm gonna not see this. Wink, wink, and you can reword it and only send me." And I'm like, "Dude, perfect. On it.
Yeah.
On it." You know? So
Yeah.
building good relationship with your lender too is really helpful because then you guys can pow out. And that's actually, this is like kind of a part two to this, where like getting to the point where you can like text your lender some like a picture of a repair and be like, "Hey, will this be fine with underwriting? What do I need to
Ooh,
change
that's
to
good.
make sure this doesn't get sticky?" I also do that with the seller side too. Like if I'm not sure if the seller is going to agree with verbiage, I like to send them a picture ahead of time being like, "Hey, can you check to make sure you're good with this verbiage and the seller's good with this verbiage? Because I don't want to get everything signed only to have to redo it." So that
Yeah.
open communication, we're all teammates here.
Yes. Yes, definitely. Yeah. If I didn't have my lender partner, like I would be so lost. Like he's helped me with my business a lot, just like saving deals and like putting me in a good light, edifying me, and just man, it helps a lot.
For sure.
Um, so if you don't have a really, really, really good lender, keep
They're
searching.
out there. Keep searching.
They're
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, they're out there. And they're hungry, like you don't have to wait in line to like get in front of them, like to find other good ones. Anyway, doesn't matter. Okay, if you're on a 50-50 split, it's time to rethink your brokerage. At eXp, the split is 80-20. And once you cap, you keep 100%. We show you how to get there faster. I'm Ali Garced, or Ali the Agent. My sponsor, Shelby Johnson, and I each close over 40 deals a year. We are full-time agents actively producing, and everyone in our upline is an icon agent. When you name us as a sponsor at eXp, you get full access to all of our systems and checklists and templates, our 200K GCI playbook to help you make 200K your first year, direct mentorship and direct access to us, no huge group calls. We also help agents add another stream of income, which is rev share. We will help you with all the tools and trainings you need to build revenue share that will help you retire early. If you're interested in building an actual business, book a call at theagentgoldmine.com. Part of this. Second mistake is I was a little bit too cheap in the beginning of my career. And I used to think I could just do everything myself. And I want to like, it wasn't everything. Like, I was never editing my own videos because F that. I was never doing like Canva stuff because that's not me. I was never doing my own paperwork. Like, so I always hired what I think is the bare minimum, like an actual person that edits for a living, an actual person that does paperwork for a living. I'm not going to pretend to be a photographer and for my own listing. So, like, those I hired out. But I feel like I was a little bit too scared to pay to grow my in showing assistance. I felt like I needed to be the one to open the doors, and absolutely not. You don't need to be. I was too scared to pay someone to be my virtual assistant or like a personal assistant and an executive assistant, which I recently just paid for a couple of months ago. And it's by the way, Shelby, I'll just say it here because we had like a behind the scenes call yesterday, or like you helped me in a moment of panic, and we're good.
Good.
Yeah. He meant there was no malicious intent.
Perfect.
If you guys have any questions about this, ask me later. So I didn't pay for a showing assistant. I was doing like all of the negotiation, and I was just too in the weeds where I didn't really have to be. I thought that my clients needed to see me in person in order to continue building the relationship. That's not the case. Especially as I started to shift more toward YouTube, where people are looking at my stuff for hours before they even book a call with me. They feel that connection, and like I already have that connection with them. So I took too long to hire out showing assistants, or showami, however you want to pronounce it, is a lifesaver. Paying for $40 for a showing assistant to open up a door, and then have them be the ones that drive all over town. And in Tucson, it takes an hour to get from one side to another. It was just not a good use of my time. I was trying to like at red lights, when I was driving, I was trying to like stop at red lights or even pull over to like sign a contract and like, do all this like go back into my CRM. I was like, what am I doing? Like, why am I even driving right now? So But I think had I stayed in Tucson, I may still be doing that. So it took me moving across the country, and I'm not telling you to move across the country. I'm telling you to just use Shawami. And so that was one of my biggest mistakes is I felt like my clients needed me. And your clients don't need you. You can still show up in other ways. We still have Zoom calls, texts, voice messages. I still like portray my personality and like still like comfiness, like that I'm holding that I'm holding their hand throughout the transaction without physically being there. And that's how I've been able to continue selling homes, 55 homes since I've moved here from across the country. I don't live in Tucson. So, yeah, that's my mistake.
Love it. Perfect. I will say, if some of you are out there thinking, but I really like showings. I really like going on adventures with my clients. I really, there are things that you can outsource that you don't have to outsource, but you don't have to. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I have gone full circle where I've started, like Ali was just talking about, doing everything myself. I have leveraged, even had a team. I had other agents, selling from, and then I've been so distant that now that I'm back in the seat of like a normal agent who gets to go out and like explore cool properties and hang out with our clients, I really like it. So all I'm saying is you have to think about what is best for you. How big and fast do you want to grow your business? And because at the end of the day, we're building a business that we like leading, right? So taking the time, maybe on like Sundays or whatever, to sit down and reflect and be like, what were the times this past week that I got really anxious because I didn't want to do something and I had to do it anyway? What do I hate doing? What drains my energy? What brings me energy? And kind of build out your leverage, like Ali's talking about, but through what you like, what you don't like, and your goals within your specific business.
I also want to add something else too, that is specifically thinking about Diane. I don't even know if Diane is the one driving around or whatnot, but I know Colorado Springs takes like 45 minutes to get from one side to the other. It's it's I set that up as expectation management in the very beginning. Like when buyers book a call with me on Zoom, I go through every single appointment. I tell them I take this call in three parts. The first part is going over specifically what you're looking for, because I want to make sure that I'm on the same page and I'm not sending you garbage into your emails. The second part is going over the Tucson market. The third part is going to be like the way ahead, what it's like to work with me moving forward, agency, all of that. So in that third part of the call, that's where I say, okay, once you find a property, and you'll realize that, as soon as you start narrowing down your criteria, know specifically what you want, you'll have like between 5 to 7 homes that actually meet your criteria. So once you have that list of like 5 to 7 homes, and I say it just like this, like just like 5 to 7 homes, send it over. We're all going to be in a group chat, you, your spouse, me, my teammate, and the lender. Send it in the group chat. And then that is when I will have my teammate go out with you, meet you at the property. Or if you're not in town, they're going to drive by. They're going to take videos of inside the property, outside the property, and the neighborhood. But at that point, like I mentioned before in the call, you would have already seen the neighborhood based off of Google Maps, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, that's how I like set the client expectation of like, hey, it's not going to be me. We're not meeting. It's going to be my teammate. And whether or not they're on like my formal team, I don't even have a formal team, like everyone is my teammate. So I partner with agents like other brokerages, everyone is my teammate. So anyway, in case she had a follow-up of expectations of how do I set that up?
Love it. Love it. Okay, my third and final mistake, because I've only made 3 ever. Just kidding. My third mistake goes from, here's a story, is that once upon a time, I had a client who was very, very particular and skittish. Like very like, oh, all these houses it's gonna cost so much money. And the type of client who sees, like, I don't know, paint chipping and is like structural damage. Like, it was one of those. Pretty intense. And we had seen a bunch of houses and we were under contract for a house, and the home inspection came back and it really wasn't that bad. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't that bad. And all problems are solvable, that's the whole thing. But she wanted out now. Like, I want done. I don't care. This house is the worst. I want to leave. And the mistake that I made was not having her look at other homes on the MLS, even just look what else is out there in the past 2 weeks that we've been under contract that I might want to see before terminating. Because I was like, yo, you don't want it. Yeah, I'm not here to convince people. And I had already gone through the fact that things are solvable. The sellers want to make this work. Like, I had done all the things. And so I was like, okay, we're terminating. We terminated. And then she went to look at the options that were out there on the MLS and was like, oh my gosh, there's literally nothing that I even remotely want out there. I wish that I had taken the knee, thought it through, and tried to make it work with the house. This is a little bit of exaggeration. She did not
Oh,
say all
wow.
that. But you
Oh,
get my point. You get my point. So the mistake that was made in this case is not for me not to have the client and take the time to sit on it and look at, hey, what are the alternatives? I know that you don't want this house. Like, I understand, but before we terminate, you've already paid for it. So all these things, let's just see what else is out there. And kind of the bigger picture mistake that I've made, there's two other little stories that I could tell, is that just making sure that you take a knee before drastic measures are taken by emotional or scared clients. Another quick example is this is not a client, this is the listing side. I was negotiating back and forth, and the listing agent was like, well, I mean, hey, looks like we're too far apart. We can't make this work. Like, we should terminate. Don't listen. There's like always a way to make things work. And people, I think, are way too quick to allow for terminations. And in that exact example, when the agent's like, well, we can't get it done, we are literally past negotiations at this point, and we're on track to close because there's always a way. In this case, the seller's net, he's like, I can't do a penny more. I can't do a penny more. But we had plenty of room in the appraisal. Like, the home was worth more than we were under contract for. So they couldn't do a penny more of their net, but my buyers were so happy to increase by $6,000 if the seller cut the check back to them at closing so they could have the cash that they wanted to do the repairs. And it all worked out. So when people are trying to terminate, just be like, yo, hold on. That's my mistake or lesson learned.
that's a good one.
Oh,
That's a good
shucks.
one. My third and final mistake is related to video. I'm glad that I'm glad that I'm doing video and I've been doing video, but my mistake was not starting it soon enough. And even when I started it, I didn't have enough volume. Like, if I were to have done a lot more volume earlier on, like in 2021, 2022, oh man, I would be so overwhelmed with clients in all the best ways that I would be at a different level in my business. So YouTube is my mistake. Like, I was making a lot of videos on my short form content. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok wasn't I didn't have TikTok but it was mainly those two. And it worked, like, I was able to get a lot of outbound referrals because that was my following on Instagram, being prior military. So but had I done had I started a YouTube channel way earlier on, like literally the month that I got licensed, even if it was garbage, like, I would have gotten and would still have a ton more clients. So instead of like closing 50 homes a year, I'd be closing 100, 150. Because I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but if you go on somebody's channel, somebody that's like been on YouTube for at least 6, 7, 8 years, a lot of times their highest viewed videos are 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6
Yeah.
years ago. Like, still, even though their quality was garbage back then and their quality right now was perfect, like production, Hollywood, their best performing videos are the ones from 2018, 2019. I mean, I wasn't even licensed then, but like, it just goes to show that YouTube long form is the way to go, because videos are going to stick around there forever. And the longer that they stick, the more views are going to get. So it's like, you want to have to push as much into long form video. So I wish I'd done long form. That was my mistake. Because it's been in 2025, we're in September 2025 right now. 99%. It's not 99% exactly, but like only one closing in 2025 has not come from YouTube. The other
Damn.
35, 7 or something like that in September so far have come from YouTube. Like literally, and that's after 3 years. Had I had my channel for the full 4 years that I've been an agent, like it would have been a total game changer. So that's my mistake, is long form videos. Do it now. And fun fact, you can find this on NAR. What is it? NAR.com? Whatever the NAR, National Association of Realtors. You know what I'm talking. They literally share on there that only 25% of real estate agents have a YouTube. So if you go on YouTube as a consumer and you're looking up, Diane, you're looking up, real estate agents in Colorado Springs, chances are you're going to see a lot of videos. A lot of videos are coming from like 3 different agents. If you think that the market is saturated, it is 100% not. Like
Totally.
25% of agents have YouTube. Like now is the time. So that was my mistake. And that's what I'm changing. That's what I've been changing. I've dedicated this entire year to make a lot more long form YouTube videos.
Yeah, and it took me even longer than Ali to learn that freaking mistake. I'm literally like 1.5 months in. And on this note, it's really annoying. I got to figure out, this goes back to kind of Ali's second mistake with like leveraging sooner type of thing. I have to reallocate my tasks because when I get busy, it's really, really hard to maintain my recording cadence. Like I had my first month, I was so good, like 2 videos a week, every single week. And now I did like 1 more video and I have not posted in way too long. It's disgusting. But to Ali's point, every time I log into YouTube, I have more subscribers and more comments, and literally like so much watch time is happening every day on the work that I have not thought about or looked at in like literally 3 weeks. So I'm such a
Yeah.
believer in YouTube. And yeah, let's all do it. A giant accountability group. Everyone in the Agent Goldmine. Everyone listening.
Yeah, I mean, no, for real. We have like
We
so
do
many
have it.
other episodes and like documents on the agentgoldmine.com. So for free, dude, like go in
Mhm.
there. We pay for that website for you for free. So and then also I'm coaching Emilio, and we started our one-on-one coaching. He's in my inner circle and we're going to blow up his YouTube.
Yes.
So I'm like super excited about it because like it's just the way to go. So I'm working with him one-on-one for that.
Yeah. If you guys are like, what? Ali's doing coaching. Ali's doing coaching. And we've been talking about this for a long time. And I'm so glad she's finally doing it because she has so much to pour into people and share one-on-one that she's finally like agreed that, okay, I can't help everyone. I only want to pour into those who are actually dedicated, motivated, want to build their business, and will take everything I pour into them and soak it up like a sponge. So if you don't know Ali's coaching, hit her up. Probably where do you want people to hit you up, Ali?
Instagram, Ali the agent, or yeah, you know what? Let's do that. If you're not, because if you're not on social media, then you're probably not the client for me. Like I need you to be on social media. So
Savage.
Ali the agent.
Cool. And with that, guys, be a bro and share this show. Bye.
Bye. If you're on a 50-50 split, it's time to rethink your brokerage. At eXp, the split is 80-20. And once you cap, you keep 100%. We show you how to get there faster. I'm Ali Garced, or Ali the Agent. My sponsor, Shelby Johnson, and I each close over 40 deals a year. We are full-time agents actively producing, and everyone in our upline is an icon agent. When you name us as a sponsor at eXp, you get full access to all of our systems and checklists and templates, our 200K GCI playbook to help you make 200K your first year, direct mentorship and direct access to us, no huge group calls. We also help agents add another stream of income, which is rev share. We will help you with all the tools and trainings you need to build revenue share that will help you retire early. If you're interested in building an actual business, book a call at theagentgoldmine.com.